Sure. So the conference was a national colloquium on minority studies. And what it did was it brought, there is an organization called the Future of Minority Studies Project. And what this organization, it's been around for probably 10 years. And it started as an intellectual project about the reclamation of identity as a category of inquiry, right? So it was sort of contra the post-structuralism of the 80s and 90s that said that identity is too slippery a category to be useful, right? Because when we talk about, women, right, there's so much internal diversity that it's socially constructed. The category doesn't lend us anything concrete. So it started as an intellectual project contra to that, and then eventually became a network of scholars interested in identity and minority studies. And they began to define minorities along sort of access to political power. So it was race and ethnicity and sexuality and disability. And then what brings these scholars together is a commitment to social activism and then transformation of the academy. So looking around and saying there is clearly an imbalance in terms of how the academy is constructed. What do we do about that? And so one of the things that they've done is to provide rigorous intellectual support for scholars interested in these issues, right? Which is important because often in traditional disciplines, right, like American studies or English, you'll find that people who work on certain things are taken less seriously. Their work is seen as ethnic grandstanding, right? Or what's the other? There's a descriptive. There's something very like basically ethnic ego stroking, right? And so part of it has been to amp up the intellectual rigor in ways, or rather to foreground it, right, so that it can claim it's be given its due credit. And then the second thing they've done is they've put a huge focus on mentoring. And so what they've done is they've constructed events that there's no simultaneous panels. People are together for the 2.5 days because they all have rooms in the same hotel. They all eat meals together, breakfast and dinner every day. And so what that does is creates a space where you're with this group of people for 2.5 days. And what that means in practical terms is that they draw from everything from graduate students all the way up to senior administrators, right? The chancellor of Syracuse has attended, the provost of Spelman has been at several events, the chancellor of Michigan Dearborn, and they sit on panels with senior faculty, with junior faculty, and with grad students. There's a very sort of non-hierarchical mix in terms of the presentations. So the product of this is that graduate students and junior faculty of color in particular are exposed to really remarkable networking and mentoring opportunities. Because in a traditional academic conference, there'll be 35 panels going on at the same time, right? And so you'll pick the one that has the senior scholar in your field that you know you'd like to know and get to know. And so you go to their panel, you pay attention, you try to ask a question, and then you race up to the front. You get your 3 minutes with that person, you give them your card, and that's it, right? That really is what constitutes making connections. This upends the model completely. Less people present, but there's much more time to actually integrate. And they're also constructed to really sort of favor audience participation, right? So the concept is that everyone who's in attendance is intellectually engaged, and therefore they're all participants, right? So the poster that we did that lists the FMS participants, which would ordinarily have just the people on the program, actually lists everybody that registered, right? And so we brought this group to William and Mary, and part of my motivation for doing that is that I think that William and Mary is eager to show its commitment to diversity in ways that are concrete. And so you can see that, for example, in the last 3 incoming classes, right? I've only been here for 2 incoming classes, but my understanding is that the last 3 have been significantly more diverse than previous ones, right? That's a construct. That's something that they're a goal that they're trying to push. And I think that on top of that, diversity was signaled as one of the 6 key things in the strategic plan. And so I think that there are opportunities to demonstrate that you're serious about this. And one way to do that is to put on a national conference that requires significant financial backing and also administrative support. And I got both of those. People were excited that this group was coming. And so I think that what that's done is that the success of this conference has been twofold, right? I don't mean to like, laud my own praises, right? But I think that trying to be somewhat objective about it, what has me so excited about the result is that the conference, it was pitched at a high level. It's an academic conference, and yet there were students everywhere over the course of the 2 days. And from my discussions with my class after the event, they got it, right? They were there and they understood what was happening. They had questions. They got to talk to professors during the coffee breaks. They sought out graduate students. There was a legitimate interchange that I think often does not happen at the undergraduate level. These are pitched to grad students, right? And the second thing that I'm actually really happy about is the kind of over the course of the 2.5 days, the sheer number of comments I got from the folks who came into town about just remarking about the kind of support for an event like this at William & Mary. It was clear that we had sort of pulled out all the stops, right? And they would remark frequently about the fact that, I would love to do this at my institution. I just don't think I could get the backing, right? And so I think that they walked away with more than just a superficial perception of William & Mary as a place that's serious about these issues. They walked away really thinking that this is a place where things are happening, right? And that's what I wanted to foreground. That's been my sense of things.